This is Psych Skill, the 5 Ps worksheet. We're going to go over this worksheet and how you can do it on your own. And then you're going to be able to see below, there will be a worksheet for you to do on your own. So if you want to print it in advance and pause this video, and then we can do it together, or you can just watch ahead and then you can do this in a journal as well too. So first we're going to identify what the 5 Ps are. So the first block here is the predisposing factors. So this is what makes you vulnerable to being triggered. Okay, this is going to be where your childhood trauma is. Your precipitating factors. So even though all situations are neutral, our precipitating factors are the things that, based on our psychology, is what triggers us. So that's the facts, okay? That's the situation. Again, it's neutral. The presenting problem is your interpretation or your perception of the situation or the precipitating factors. This includes your emotions, your behaviors. This includes mostly your thoughts and your perceptions, and maybe the initial things that you do in that moment. That is the problem. Okay. And then precipitating factors are the things that you do that is going to actually keep the problem going. It's usually a form of self-harm or attack towards other people. And then our protective factors is what we're going to reinforce for us to be able to change. So obviously we need to be changing the thoughts to have effect on the emotions, the behavior. Maybe I shouldn't say obviously, but that's what we're doing with CBTs. We're changing the thoughts, have effect on the emotions and the behavior. So by changing the thoughts that we have and having positive affirmations or taking positive action, that's going to lead to a change in the way that we perceive the problem, and then we're going to stop keeping the problem going. So I'm just going to erase that. I'm going to give you an example of what this might look like. Okay. So let's say we have a problem of you're at work and there is somebody that you're working with and they're a peer and they come into your cubicle, wherever you're working, and they say to you, what's taking so long? And they say to you in a rude way, what what is taking you so long to do your job? Okay. Um, this is done in yeah, it's in a cold tone, a sharp tone, maybe we'll say that. Sharp tone. So this is not warm and loving. We're not saying in this part for the trigger, we're not saying, he's being a jerk. That would be subjective. So it's just going to be an objective experience of what happened. So this could be your kid talks back to you, your partner moves your candle from one spot to another spot, or you find the dish is not in the right place, or you ask someone to do something for you and they didn't do it for you, or um, someone starts crying and you're afraid of hurting their feelings. All of these things could be triggers. With the problem, so what made you vulnerable in the first place would be the experiences that you may have had as a child. So perhaps there was bullying at school when you were a kid. Okay. You can be more detailed in your own personal worksheets as well. That will be helpful opposed to just being general. Perhaps you had a um, parent that had an authoritarian style. Authoritarian style. So maybe we get to be more specific. Maybe dad often said, "I am not going to mount to anything." Okay. That would be an example of some trauma there. Or I struggled in schools, and felt like a disappointment. Appointment to my teachers. So you may have had situations in school where your teacher looked down on you or they treated you in a way that you felt like you were not important to them or not valued because you're struggling. Those would be examples of what makes you vulnerable in the first place. You're going to be looking at your childhood. You're going to look at anything that would make you have the problem, which we're going to go into next. So whether this is people pleasing, caring what people think, being afraid of judgment, taking any action that's going to be less than loving to yourself or others. So that's going to be our action. So in this situation, we're going to say, what's the problem? The problem is um, I feel, I feel, I don't know why it's bolded there. Feel. So what do we do when we want to do our feelings? We can find our feeling wheel. Bring that up here. We're going to tap into our feelings, okay? I feel, what do we feel here? Let me see if I can pull that up closer for you so everyone can see. I feel threatened, maybe. I feel worthless. I feel maybe judged. Or maybe I feel a little bit humiliated or annoyed, disapproving. Proving. Um, Maybe I feel guilty. Okay. Powerless. So let's identify some of the thoughts that attach to the problem as well, too. Disapproving. Let's see if I can spell that. D-I-S, one S. I cheated. I looked at it. Okay. Powerless. All right. And then our thoughts would be, so let's just be very more specific here. So Bill said, what is taking you so long to do your job? What is taking you so long? Why does it take you so long to do that job? And it would be more specific if it was a real case based on what happens in your current life. So the thoughts that we might have been having is um, they are judging me. So Bill, let's be more specific. So Bill is judging me. Bill doesn't like me. He thinks I am stupid. Maybe another thought might have been like, I would never say that to someone. Who does he think he is? He is. So that also cultivates a little bit of the um, feeling annoyed, right? So annoyed is I can't talk like that to someone, so he can't talk like that to someone. If I talk to someone like that, that would mean that I deserve attack. So he deserves to attack for talking like that. And then also, what other thoughts would be there? Powerlessness. I can't say anything back because he won't like me. I put my head down and keep working. Okay. Now let's see what's going to keep things going here. Things that might keep things going. So these are attack thoughts or actions towards self and others or forms of self-harm. So one thing that could keep going is I told Susan what Bill said and gossiped. Basically, like I said, that's basically gossiping. So I told Susan what Bill said, and implied he shouldn't have done that. He was wrong and deserved my attack. My attack. We shared why we don't like him. Okay, so that's somebody that's hurting. So somebody gossips behind your back, that's always evidence that they're feeling unloved, right? And then the other thing you might do is you go home and drink. You just get high. Go shopping. Be short with your spouse. And then work harder because I don't feel like I'm enough. I am afraid of him talking to me again. Okay. So that's an example. Now, one of the things that is really important whenever we're doing CBT, and this is a component that's sometimes left out of therapy, and I really want to bring attention to. So, what we just did here is we've identified the problem, what keeps it going. So, this thought that basically the core of the thought, not walking, we're working. Core of the thought is I am not enough. I deserve attack. Okay. I am unlovable. That one might be a little bit deeper, but it's in there. Oops. Hopefully you can still see my screen because I can't. Let's see if I get back. There we go. Okay. So we're just gonna go to the next step of this. So whenever you're gonna be doing CBT, you want to be doing the identification of what the trigger is, like we just did here. That's fantastic. But after, so we noticed our shoes are untied. We noticed the problem, but then we need to tie our shoes. So we need to now like shift it. So if you had this situation happen, okay, so again, we're back here at the situation. So Bill said, what is taking you so long to do your job or to do that job? And that was done in a sharp tone. So the actual correction that's going to get you out of suffering is going to be, I'm going to put this in bold so we can see it. Bill is hurting and doesn't know what to do. This is not personal. It is a call for love or an expression of it. Because we know that anger is never justified in any form, actually, this is how we know it's a call for love. It's very, very clearly a call for love. We don't even really have to think about that one because there's tone in his voice. So if Bill came over and he said, hey, what's going on? I noticed that you're taking a little longer to do your work than normal. Can you help me understand what's going on? Am I able to help? Okay. That would be an act of love. So you're still Bill's still identifying that you're taking longer to do the job, but Bill's not attacking you with a tone and being aggressive. So that would be the difference. Now, someone who still doesn't love themselves still might feel attacked by Bill coming over and asking what's taking so long, even done warmly. So this is why we really want to identify, is this a call for love or expression of love? But when there's anger, when someone's getting angry, sad, or anxious, that's evidence they've been triggered, and then that's likely going to be a call for love, not an expression of love. So what does Bill deserve? But it's love, compassion, and gentle correction. Okay. And so do you. You don't ever deserve attack. And that's the other piece there too. Okay. So I am, actually, we're going to put that for the affirmation. And then what's going to keep it going, what's not going to keep it going is responding acting warmly, but clearly with Bill. It might sound something like, "Hey, Bill, I appreciate you, bringing to my attention that, you noticed a change in my work and that I'm going slower. I appreciate that. I want to work with you. I want us to work well together. And I know that you really pride yourself in your work. And I think that's a wonderful quality. However, it's important if you want to approach me on this, that you do so with respect and warmth. And I'm more than happy to talk to you about why the job is taking me longer. Are you open to trying again, or are you open to communicating a different way, so that we can all feel like it's a safe place for us to give and receive feedback? Okay. And with boundaries. We are not doormats. We are loving, yes. We are kind, yes. We are not doormats. We will not allow people to abuse us or treat us unloving. Especially if that's something within our control to do. What they do is outside of our control, but what's in our control is how we respond. Okay. And the positive affirmation is I am enough. My best is enough. Okay. I never deserve attack. Okay. What do we deserve? Love, compassion, and gentle correction. Slash boundaries. The other thing that happens too, it's important to note with the what keeps it going is we will change our behavior when we have an unhealed thought, and then we would work a lot harder, or we would be more passive when we think we're unloved, when we're unlovable, and it'll actually just continue the behavior to keep going. So Bill will continue to be reinforced. Oh, when I'm hard on them, they work harder. So I guess that's the right action, right? I and others deserve. All right. Love, compassion, judge, correction, and boundaries. All right. So that's that worksheet. Okay. I will have that up for you. I think I've already put the feeling wheel up. I can throw that up there though too on this one. So down below, you'll be able to see that and give this a go. Give this worksheet a go and see what you can make of it. And yeah, wish you all the best with this, and we'll see you on Tuesday.